In this theme of art, today we're going to talk about global Black spirituality. And global Black spirituality, in my definition, is ancient African practices that spread around via the transatlantic dehumanization experiment. So when we think of African diasporic religion is essentially things that we hear of like Santeria in Cuba, Haitian voodoo in Haiti, the candomblé, which is in Brazil, hoodoo in America. In fact, Nora Zil Hurston was one of the researchers for hoodoo in America. So she was able to document the validity and also the history of our African ancient practices being practiced here in America. Then we also have voodoo in Jamaica and Obe in the Caribbean. What's really interesting about the Caribbean, there are a lot of belief systems among Black people that there's actually validity in these ancient ancestral beliefs. And some of these beliefs are that this is a form of magic ritual to ward off misfortune or to cause harm. So there were a couple of articles published about African ancestral spirituality, and one of them came from BBC and New York Times. So one of them said Obe, a resurgence of Jamaican voodoo. And Obe is an interesting word because Obe comes from the Ashanti language. Ashanti is one of the African nations that was in West Africa. So in their language, Obe means wizard or witch. And the colonial laws forbade folks of African descent to practice these types of ancestral African spiritualities because they knew that it held power and significance. A lot of Christian countries deem African spirituality as black magic or a scam or something that is seen as evil, and it was outlawed in 1760 within Jamaica. So a lot of these practices are still being done, but it's in the secret form. Everyone is going to tell you that they practice ancestral African spirituality, and because of the stigma that comes with it. But if someone tells you about their European religion, they're so ecstatic and happy. They're Christian, they're Catholic, they're all of these different dominations that originated from this European twist of religion. But no one really wants to talk about shadow casting, which is something in the 17th, 18th century, when basically people who grew plants had ruled the era, which is called a plantocracy. So these people did such things as shadow casting, which is putting grave dirt in bottles with dry plants and then some type of human specimen so that you can trap that person spiritually in a bottle. Then there are other things that like a follow me man perfume, which is basically like a love potion. Someone is going to constantly be attached to you. And then a wish bag to protect you from enemies and various other things. And what's so important about this ancestral form of practicing spirituality is these people had underground organizations that practice this stuff and also had a part in how civilization progressed. These people were the ones who got together and conducted the Haitian Revolution. Different types of uprising that happened with these so-called slaves came from organizations like these, which are people who understand their ancestral heritage and the power and privilege it is to be a part of it. So these people are the ones that were constantly forcing these white people to dignify us. And it's really interesting because majority of us demonize this, but for us to be in the positions that we are in, these people had to practice it and be diplomat by having these different uprisings. So global Black spirituality had to be included in the form of art because this art is something that is ancient and we can't shake it. It's something that we carry regardless of whether we're rooted at home or not.